I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. I'll take approval of the agenda and the minutes.
So, second.
Motion by Smithy, second by Abrams. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Morning, Rich. You on the line here?
Yep. Just a couple things. I know I keep telling you about these agreements. I've got them written up for the city of Fertile, and I want to get one to Cerro Gordo County for the project down there. But since the projects are a little bit later in the season, I haven't been pushing them. But I want to get them to the county attorney so he can review them, see if they look okay. And then I'll get them back to you guys once he thinks they're good. And then I'll get them sent out to the appropriate people to sign, and just for their shares of the projects is all it is. We've got some patching going down at the BMC quarry this week. So I'm going to send a notice out on our thing about that road being a little bit difficult to get through. They're not closing it down. They're going to do half lane or whatever. They're going to do one lane at a time from patching, but it's a pretty big quote, like I told you last week, and so we're going to try to get that done. That'll give us some life back on there. We're probably not going to get every little piece of cracked up road, but we're going to get the major stuff taken care of first. And if there's something that pops up in the meantime, it may be something that our crews can take care of as needed. So just want to get kind of the major stuff, the bigger stuff that takes more traffic control. Like I said, like they're set up for everything. They got the traffic control, they got the equipment, they've got the know-how to get it done faster than we can. So that's going to take place this week. We're going to have a pre-con with Dixon Construction on Friday for the bridge on 324th or 342nd, sorry. That's down there by the BMC quarry too. So a lot's going to be taking place in this, soon down there. There's a detour going to take place. They're going to close down Highway 9 next week on Monday to do a culvert project, and they're using dogwood as part of their detour. They're taking dogwood to 390th and then over to Winnebago County. That road had some issues with it this spring. We had some pavement pop out of it, so we replaced it with some aggregate and some chloride just to lock it all down. And then down by the onion fields where the peat soil is, we have some wheel rutting that took place. I have the DOT. I mentioned to him last Friday, I said, you may want to look at that route again to see if it's something you guys want to do something to real quick. I know we should probably be doing some maintenance on it, but they want to use it for a detour, and sometimes they might step up and do some quick repairs. They're going to look at it. I also kind of did some things too to see if I could get a contractor in to patch it, and I'll see what that comes back as. But we're only talking a week's worth of time. We might spend some money if we have to get it patched. It's going to cost a little bit more because it's kind of a quick and dirty, not scheduled thing, but it could cost a little bit more money than we want to, but either way, we got to fix it. We can deal with the aggregate patches there for a while until later in the season. I don't know if prices would change now because it's not scheduled or not, but I'm going to see what the DOT says first, and then I'll activate some other method if we have to. If they're okay with it, we'll do what we can to kind of keep it nice and neat for the traffic. But from there, we'll see what happens. Maybe I can get something going through there yet. I did get a quote from Heartland, and I'm just a little nervous about the cost. They want almost $20,000 to patch 2 patches and then do some milling in those wheel ruts. But if I can get the DOT to maybe get us by without us spending money, maybe I'm going to try that first. So I don't know what you guys think of it, but I'm just going to hold on to that quote and just see what the DOT comes up with.
Yeah, because it's going to be a couple of years, you said, before that's on the agenda to pave or repave.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do something to it just to keep it alive until then.
Yeah, there's a half a dozen spots that just really fell apart this spring for some reason.
Yep. So, and then I've been in contact with the wind farms. I know we talked about last week about their boring underneath 24-inch pipe and larger. They've been up again. They've had Ellingson Drainage, which is going to do most of they're going to do their tire repairs for them. So we're still kind of having discussions about, we don't care if they bore every crossing. We just know it's expensive if they do it. So they know right away. I gave Ellingson a copy of the agreement that the county put together with the wind tower people. I suppose it's with Excel now. It's not with the other company, but they have a copy of what it requires. But with their experience and with Minnesota, I think Minnesota requires them to bore everything, and so they're just a little bit confused as to what we want up here. And I told them, to be honest with you, that's stuff outside the right of way, and it's up to that contractor. I mean, our agreement just says fix every tile crossing. We don't say how to fix it. We just want it fixed to pre-existing conditions. And however they decide, if they want to wallow in the mud, they can wallow in the mud. So they just have to figure out what costs benefit them best. If boring across over, and I think he said, including private tile crossings, they're going to have about 1,300 contacts so far with tile. So, and with the potential of having those 17 wind towers coming from Minnesota down to Iowa for now, that kind of added to their plate a little bit. So, just to keep you up on that a little bit, and so you understand what might be happening. We're doing our best to keep them informed. And then on the other thing too, dealing with the wind tower people, they had sent me an email last week or a week before wanting to know if they wanted to post our bridges so their construction traffic wouldn't drive on it. And I said, absolutely not. I don't want to create any more confusion with the general public driving on them. We've got posted weights on these bridges, and I don't want them messing with them and screwing up they're already confusing enough to everybody about how they're posted. So I didn't want them. So what I told them was, and I'm using the ITC thing, where if you don't want them driving on a road, I think you put up a sign at the intersections that say no, like ITC said, no ITC traffic. I said no wind tower traffic, or something put up with an orange construction sign that those people can't be driving on there. And I think they're going to do that route instead. But I think it just adds too much confusion when they want to do something different with a bridge. They could put no construction traffic on it, but by the time a truck gets down to that bridge, they're going to have to figure out how to turn around, and they might just as well do it at intersections. So there might be some more signage popping up, or they might even use temporary signs at intersections to say no traffic or no wind tower construction traffic on this road. So we'll just see what that does for us too. I think that's probably a better way to handle it. So, but I think other than Mark, we'll probably talk about DD7 after this. So that's all I got for secondary roads, unless you guys have some questions.
You guys good?
Roads are good right now.
Okay, we're all good.
We're all blading since we got some moisture over the weekend, so we'll get that stuff tied in. So,
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And then Mark, you want to bring up DD7 then?
Yep. So Rich, Russ, and we met out at DD7 Main on the upper end. Actually looked at 3 different road crossings out there. The one for sure we're probably going to do something with, Rich.
Yeah, we just kind of talked about it this morning, and Russ and Al went and shot some elevations out there, and we can't figure out. I went into the courthouse and looked for some information, and I can't figure out at that crossing on Evergreen. There's 2 pipe. I think it's a 24. I think it's a 24-inch pipe that's running the main flow, and then above that 24, I think is I don't know if it's a 90. I don't have it written down, like a 96-inch multi-plate pipe that's 2 feet above the regular flow line. So it's kind of like their overflow pipe. I don't know why it got put in that way. I understand why at times they did that. That 24-inch takes the flows that's going through now, so nothing silts in. And then on higher events, then that 24-inch gets fully submerged, and then that 96-inch takes over. So I understand why they did it, but 24-inch is getting pretty rotten, and there might be a way to, if we got to take the 24-inch out anyway, we're going to have to be down at that elevation to yank it. We talked about maybe that. I walked through that multi-plate, and that seems pretty solid yet. We might just try to drag that big pipe down into the flow line and just create that larger opening right away. The one thing we were talking about this morning is whether or not there's enough length to it if we're dropping it down 2 feet with the slopes. I never thought about that when we were standing out there, and I don't remember, Mark, do you remember how much was on top of that? I know I stood out there, and I can't remember how much was there, but.
Not a lot. I doubt there ain't 2 feet on each side on the top, is there, Rich?
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember standing on that arch, arch pipe to the south, and I was bouncing on that one. There was probably 6 feet there, and that was a shallower pipe. But we'll have to look at that and see. The other option would be to, I don't know, to take that one out and drop a rail car pipe in it. But that's going to cost,
Okay,
quite a few. The pipe itself will be, I don't know. I can't remember what those prices are anymore. If they're, to put everything, to drop something in there. I mean, we could buy the pipe, but it's such a deep cut, we're going to have somebody else drop it in. Maybe Elliot can do that, but we're looking at better than 20 grand to drop that pipe in there. If we have to replace it with a rail car pipe, it'll probably be better than 20 grand, but it'll be a newer pipe.
right. So, okay, anyway, the issue out there is Elliot requested that maybe he does some cleaning out there too. And we're at the same token, we were looking at all these crossings because they're virtually, right now the water's down pretty good and there's barely any water flowing through them. It almost looks like they all need to be dropped, but that's not the point. He had roughly, I think, upwards of 2 foot of silt on the upper end of DD7. He wanted to do some tiling on a farm on the upper end, and he was putting his outlets 12 to 18 inches, to get them in right depth. They were in the water, so he wanted to know if he could do some maintenance in there and clean about 4,000 feet, I think 4,700 feet, I think it was, Rich, he estimated.
Yeah.
And Rich and I and Russ talked about it, and actually on Saturday, Rich and I talked about it, and for repair, he's coming in probably $10,000-$12,000 is what he figured it'd be. So hopefully we're okay on that. He's went ahead.
$2 a foot, which isn't a bad price for cleaning out, I guess.
Maybe a couple pipes here and there that are bad up in there. He'll probably be done there by noon if you want to go out and look at that. That arch pipe is what he's dug to. The water is all down now, and the outlets that I could see around that arch pipe they are 2 feet above the water where the water was. So
really?
Definitely be clean. But the arch pipe, there's probably not more than 2 or 3 inches of water running through there right now. So you might want to look at that just to see, but he should be done digging up there by noon. And then also Elliot, when we were out there looking at the main or the head of the ditch, it had completely fell apart. Between siltation and bank erosion, and it actually only goes in probably 150, just or maybe at the most 200 feet into his property. And I said, well, Elliot, I said, if this was mine, I'd put pipe in here and cover it up. I said, and he said, well, can I do that? And I said, well, yeah, if you pay the expense, the district wouldn't pay for it. So I think he's going to put a 36-inch pipe in there probably.
I think that's what he was saying.
He'll put a waterway in, which he'll fill it in, put a waterway in, and run he's got a half a dozen outlets that dump into the head of that ditch right now on that farm. He'll hook them in at his expense, put a waterway in, and hopefully that will probably take care of some of the siltation. That ditch, he says, has been cleaned several times in the last 30, 40 years because it's peat ground, and it has some problem with ditch bank sloughing and stuff like that. But there's also been a lot of dirt pushing in there. And so hopefully that will take care of some of that on the head up there. That actually, I think it laterals and goes on across A38 too with a tile. So it drains a little more than just Elliot's up there and a couple other farms. But so he's going to do that at his expense. But you say he'll be done digging in there I bet by noon. The ditch will be. He started Saturday afternoon, I think, is when he started. So
okay,
it's taking too long. So,
Yeah,
but you might want to look at that. Yeah, that one crossing again, or have Russ out there just to see, and talk to Elliot, see what his thought is. But the water is going through it. And maybe that's how low the ditch should be right now too. So
yeah, we had we took some shots. So there's not. I'm trying to remember. We've got the shots from the arch pipe to that double pipe, and then back down to that last one we looked at. And I think there was 1.5 feet. There's 2 feet of fall from I can't remember now what it was. There was 2 feet of fall from 410th, was it? And then
420th.
420th. I'm sorry, I get that. From 420th to Evergreen, I think there was maybe 2 feet of fall on that length, and then there was only a 1.5 feet from that pipe to 420th again. So
okay, from the head of the ditch.
Oh, here it says that. They went out and shot it. So yeah, from 9042 to 8870. So that's
Okay.
there's decent amount of fall from 420th to Evergreen. Now, obviously, because we were out there, that multi-plate arch, or that multi-plate pipe was above the flow line of that arch on 420th because it was dry. So
Right.
obviously that was 4/10 higher than the flow line of that arch on 420th. And then, but that 24-inch was about 8870, so 88, a foot and a half, maybe roughly plus or minus lower.
Okay.
It was about a foot and a half fall from the arch pipe on 420th to Evergreen, and another foot and a half from Evergreen down to 420th again.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so roughly, 87, 3.2 feet. Remember, you wanted to know what that pipe was at 420th, and then back around to 420th. It's about 3.2 feet of fall all the way through the loop.
I mean, that's sufficient anyway. It's not excessive, but considering it's peat ground up there.
But yeah, your peat ground, so anyway.
Okay. So anyway, we just wanted to make the board aware of that you know, it's maybe kind of overstep things a little bit, but he wanted to get in.
I don't know what kind of timeline you want on that pipe to be replaced, but
I think right now, you know, the water's going through it. As long as we don't have excessive rain, it isn't going to matter, Rich. But you know, it could be this summer, whatever works out. You know, wherever you can find somebody to do it and get everything lined up. It'd probably be nice to get it out of the way when it's dry, or if it stays dry.
Yep, we'll look at that then
before harvest, so it gets a chance to settle, and gets to be a lot of truck traffic on that road too in the summertime, so, or winter or fall time. So
yeah, and then you and I kind of talked about too, did we not? Maybe we were kind of concerned about farming too close to that ditch bank, and maybe some of that was off.
They farm right up to it, which that whole ditch, there is very little CRP around it on the upper end. I know that. So that's something I don't know if we can talk about in the future. You know, what rights we have or what we can do there. I mean, but
Something going on there.
Rich, you got your, he's muted.
I am muted.
Oh, okay. There we go. We're getting some feedback. So anyway, that's where we're at on that one. But then I left a message, I think, at the office, and I did talk to Russ about this one too, which is up in Silver Lake Township, Rich. There's an old box culvert, an old double box culvert up there. The guys must have knocked the railing off it last winter. And it's up on Dogwood and 485th, between Arden Thorson and Mike Thompson. I think it's lat 8 as the ditch it's on. And then there's same token there's one of those low flow, that's probably about a 30-inch there, and then this high flow box culvert, which I know Russ was aware of it, he said, or you guys are aware of it, it's in pretty tough shape. But the farmer was concerned about it. He didn't even realize that low flow pipe was there, and he's farmed up there for 40 years.
Okay.
So he thought we stuck that pipe in there, but that's obviously been there for years. It's pretty old looking too. So, but he was concerned about the concrete that was knocked off. I think that's laying in the ditch and in the box culvert. So,
we use that for riprap.
Okay. Well, it probably could be taken and put off for some riprap, but there's some rebar sticking up there yet, which it's been over to the creek side. It's not been out to the roadside, but it looks pretty shabby. And it's actually probably pretty dangerous. I don't know if there should be some kind of post or some lineators up there just to warn people.
Okay.
Maybe
look at it. I'll go up there.
Look at that box culvert. That's probably something that's going to have to be on the list in the future too.
Yeah, probably so.
So on the point of riffraff, I noticed on DD7, one of the outlets by that arch pipe, he cleaned out, which like I say now is 2 feet above the flow line or whatever you want to say. It's and the water was coming out pretty good, and it had taken and washed a little bit of a channel. Should there be riffraff under something like that to kind of keep that from washing away the ditch bank and stuff? Maybe
it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to have something there to kind of keep that soil erosion down. We can look.
I mean, once the channel's there and it's flushed out, you're not gonna get any more dirt, but yeah, it might be good for the pipe if it was up underneath there. I don't know, just a
The
thought.
erosion stone in, we want to undercut it anyway and put it in so that the flow line is at the top of that rock anyway. So I'll
Okay,
take a look at that when I go out there.
all right, appreciate it. And then if you
Yep.
need it, let Elliot know, so.
Okay.
Okay, that's, pretty much all I had, I guess, for now, so.
Okay. Drainage, accept the engineer's report, DD 46 lat 9.
I don't have that yet,
Nothing yet.
but I do have claims.
The drainage claims on?
Use drainage too.
Those are the checks and they're the ones that are gonna be checks and those are the ones that are.
Oh, Wonder Agnes for 540, partial Winnebago, so 349.60. And Pop Farm Drainage, 321.40, and Pop Farm Drainage, 332.05.
Make a motion to approve the drainage claims.
Motion to approve the drainage claims,
Second.
and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion will carry.
That'll include those stamped warrants too.
Okay. And then also need to approve the stamp warrants for drainage.
So move.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Okay, that it for drainage? Okay. All right. 2080 agreement.
Oh, regular claims.
Oh, sorry. Regular claims. You guys just get a peek at those?
Sure did.
And then I have one other one that happened last week for $735 for more postage.
More postage for our absentee
Election.
election stuff.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims, including the postage.
Okay,
Second.
there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry.
Just that.
We'll then get Kelly for another.
Okay.
That's for to sign these agreements.
Yep.
Okay.
You can get you up to speed.
Okay.
Right back.
All right. So consider the 2080 agreement between Northwest Iowa Care and Worth County.
Gentlemen's coffee break.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Should have some hold music or something fun. What's the story on our 2080 agreement, Ken?
Well, we'll go ahead, with Bill over to Palo Alto County last week, and Bill's Winnebago County a little disgruntled with the not hiring Donna Nelson, but she didn't interview well, I guess, so I'm a little disappointed too, because we got someone else other than, it's not from our area, but I suggested, got a call from Sandy Morales last night. She said she would like to see us sign it because we have no other choice but to go back to county social services, which we do not want. So my recommendation is we go ahead and sign the 2080 agreement and Northwest Care bylaws and
And the
personal contact.
Everything else we're very happy with.
Everything else we're very happy with. That's just one small step.
Well, and we've been working awful hard to get out of CSS.
Right,
So
we've been working awful hard to get out, and
to do what's best. So yeah, I agree too. I mean, we need to stick to our guns with this, and it's unfortunate that Donna didn't get it, but
we're losing, 28 years of experience, and
sure.
we'll see what happens.
Right.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve the 2080 agreement between Northwest Iowa Care Connection and Worth County as member county.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'm gonna go ahead and go a roll call vote. Abrams,
All right,
Smithy,
Aye.
Stone, aye.
Just you?
Yes, I am Shelley. Notarize this one. Okay. And also we consider the Northwest Iowa Care Connection bylaws.
I move we approve the Northwest Iowa Care Connection bylaws.
And I will second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote for that as well. Abrams,
Aye,
Smithy,
Aye.
Stone, aye. All right. And also consider personnel contract between Northwest Iowa Care Connections and Worth County.
Is that, want to explain that, Ken?
it's just the contact of the people that have, we got a new CEO, Alyssa hired, she's from Spencer, Iowa,
Okay,
and she'll be our contact person.
okay. I'll make a motion to approve the personnel contracts between Northwest Iowa and Worth County.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? I'll do a roll call vote on that as well. Abrams,
Aye,
Smithy,
Aye.
Stone, aye. All right, so we should be pretty well official then by July 1st, right?
Yep.
Okay. Good deal. All right, Winworth Betco, Melissa.
Good morning.
Aye.
Morning.
The Winworth Becco is the fund advisor for Winnebago County Community Foundation's grant release process for nonprofit organizations. We started that process last week, and then I'm working on the summary events calendar, and I'm going to wait to print until Friday when Worth County Fair decides if they are going to move forward or cancel the event. That is the only June event that is not affected by the pandemic. And then I am wondering if you as the board would like to have a exec board meeting prior to the July scheduled one to discuss either some options for a second employee or some other options that I've come across.
Do you feel it's necessary?
Some of these options that, well, one of them is that golden shovel, which I have a meeting with on Wednesday, and he is going to re-look at his proposal and try to add in on the proposal about how it could benefit both Winnebago and Worth counties. So that is one, it's a short fix or it's a temporary fix until we decide if we want to hire a second person or not. And then that he also said he could bill over 3 fiscal years. So it's not going to be just one huge bill. So there's those kinds of options that we can discuss. And if we want to move forward that way, I'd like to have a meeting before the end of the fiscal year. Otherwise, we can just wait until July.
That was your meeting, Ken.
I think we can set up a Zoom.
I can send out an email to all 6 of you and list the options and the costs, and then you guys, maybe we can decide that way if you want to have an exec board meeting.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
That'd be good.
Just let me know the date.
Yeah.
Yeah, let Jackie know the date.
For sure. I'll copy her, Jackie and Carla in on it too.
Okay.
Sounds good. Anything else?
Nope, not at this time.
Alrighty. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right. Guess we'll move on to Jason Petersburg.
Good morning.
Morning. Everybody should be aware the agreement has finally been signed by Boyd Gaming. Change order has been signed, so full speed ahead on construction. Permits for the project either have been submitted or will be today, the remaining permits that are outstanding. As part of the agreement, Boyd did have some questions on the site grading around their lot that they're going to retain. We'll likely have a conference call on that this week to address that. I don't see any major issues there, but if we need to make some adjustments to the grading to satisfy them, we'll do that. The other item that we haven't done with all these changes is we need to resubmit the plat to planning and zoning. So I will be getting in touch with Jane this week and get that submitted for their review. And then lastly, that drain tile I brought up last week has been repaired. There's a nice gas line right through it. So,
Black Hills boarded through
So how do you get it proper depth and
Yeah.
not move the gas line? That's my question. How'd you able to reroute it?
Wondering.
gas, no, they just dig up
Dig it
enough
up,
gas that they can lift it a little.
Okay. Gotcha. Good.
it. Perfect.
Well,
Otherwise, yeah, we're good to go out there, right?
Full speed ahead.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
You guys have any other questions for Jason?
No, move dirt.
Any other
Good, good.
questions for us, Jason?
No, that they mobilized quite a bit of equipment the end of last week, so there should be a lot going on there this week with good weather.
Good.
Sounds good. I'll be out there today. Probably just check, see what's going on. We're gonna look at placing that tornado siren out there this afternoon, so.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. People service.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
I don't have anything to report. Just wondering what time you guys want to meet about that siren this afternoon.
Talking to Mark Tomlinson, it looks like we're gonna, the gentleman's gonna be in Northwood about 1:30, so I would assume just shortly after that, somewhere between 1:30 and 2, we should be out there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, then we'll meet you at the water plant then.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks.
All right, Joan Vorland, disallowances for military and homestead exemptions.
I just got a list here of 6 people that, they own homes, but they have different mail tos, but they currently have a homestead.
Okay,
And to have the homestead credit, you have to live there, so. Just, Jackie usually sends a letter out to everybody, and if I don't hear back from them, I remove the home,
Disallowing this
Right.
situation.
unless they call and explain
Okay.
something, but
They have it. They haven't called?
No,
So these are
The
all-
letter hasn't gone out yet.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
So we'll send a letter out, and then
So we need
if we
to,
don't hear anything from by July 1st, because that's like kind of the deadline,
okay.
and we'll take it off.
Do we need to approve sending this letter out then? Okay,
So moved.
I'll second.
there's a motion and a second to, send letters out disallowing, homestead or military exemption. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That motion will carry. Go ahead and send those letters.
I've got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. All right, Justin Stotts, North Iowa Regional Housing Authority, are you on the line? Must not be.
I see some numbers.
Yeah, he would probably be either be in Mason City or a 507. He's from Owatonna.
This is the same thing you guys look at every
I
year.
think it's an annual thing, isn't it? I do
Yeah.
remember that. The payment
Here's the information.
in lieu of taxes consideration.
And you're on that board, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yep.
And everything's going better there now?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know they had some issues before I got involved with, or right as I got involved, they just hired a new director down there, and Justin's doing a fantastic job of running that place, so.
Just need a motion to.
Yep, I would recommend we approve the payment in lieu of taxes consideration waivers.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion by Smithy, second by Abrams. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Just sign at the bottom, looks like that. Authorized representative. All right. Now we have a resolution endorsing the Vikings Activity Center project and committing funds for community attraction and tourism application.
And this is basically just a technicality because you already did it, but it was a motion instead of a resolution, and to be able to go forward with CAT
They need a
grants,
resolution.
they,
grants.
yeah,
So does Joyce need the same thing, if we do
we did that.
resolution?
I think they brought it.
Or a
to us.
support, I think it might have been a support letter.
That might, yeah. So
Either way, yeah, they
Yeah.
brought it to us how they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
whatever, so.
So I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the Viking Activity Center project.
Okay,
I'll second it.
there's a motion and a second. Yes, any other discussion? I'll do a roll call vote. Abrams,
Aye.
Smithy,
Aye.
Stone, aye. The resolution will pass. Okay, are there any reports?
Clerk report and sheriff.
Money in. $798 from the clerk report and $5,280 for sheriff.
Make a motion to approve the reports.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Do I sign these, Jenny?
Oh, yeah.
Just
it's on
someone.
somewhere.
I think I'd have it figured out by
No, you won't.
now.
Next year.
Properly sign everything differently. I'll figure it out January 1st when I hand it over some the next guy. Yeah, you'll have it. All right, any payroll eligibility or salary changes? No. We have a manure management plan for Steve Wyverny on 430th Street over northeast of Grafton.
And I don't think there were any changes on
Just a update.
it. Yeah, just acknowledging that we
Annual.
received it.
I move we acknowledge the Manure Management Plan 69466 for Steve Wyverty.
I will second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, that motion will carry. Okay, department head discussion. Well, I think we haven't much anything different on the policies, right? Are we still pretty good on that?
Mhm.
As everybody knows, I mean, we got that figured out last time, right? Or
Yeah.
I know?
I think we did start a new press release.
Okay.
Yes, so we did want to make sure.
Yeah, I just want to discuss opening. I just didn't know if there was any policies that needed to be looked at. I think we pretty well got them nailed down last time, the 3 or 4 individual cases we had, so. Otherwise,
The only-
opening, I did see a boatload of emails between department heads come through. Talked to Brian a little bit, and see some hand sanitizers mounted. What else?
If anybody has installations of,
Partitions?
yeah, we would wanna wait until after that occurs.
Okay.
So I don't know if people wanna do appointments starting next Monday, or if they wanna hold off until their equipment or their,
Right,
I don't know. But I'm already technically open if somebody wants to vote.
okay. Are you putting any in? Dividers, nothing as of now?
I have 2 desks that are close enough together that I'm trying to decide what to do, but
Okay.
other than that, no.
Okay. I know Teresa had ordered some. You said I didn't know if she or had a timeline on when hers were
I
getting
have no
installed.
idea.
Also Jake, I know Jake Hansen was talking about getting some.
And he'd have the most traffic.
Yeah, Jake, have you got yours coming? Are they in, or do you have a date on those?
I just talked to Dan this morning. He said they'll ship on Wednesday of this week. So he said hopefully by the weekend or right away. I don't know. They're going to come FedEx or UPS, so they may not come here till Monday afternoon. So I think we're kind of at the point, if we don't have them, we're not going to open yet. We're going to wait till we have them for sure to open. So we may have to push it back a day or two when we're opening, but
You wanna
as
bump
far
it back?
as,
Should we bump the entire thing a week because Teresa just showed too that she hasn't heard when hers will be installed.
yeah, mine are the ones that, the guy over in Sioux City, you just put the legs on them and they stand on the counter. So we'll be able to get them installed ourselves right when we get them, but, as far as like a press release as to when we open, I would just like to not be included in that. I'm not gonna make it aware to the public that we're opening back up unless they specifically call in. We just wanna kinda slowly, gradually get people making their appointments and come back in. We don't want the flooding and scheduling out already 2 or 3 weeks in advance type thing.
There was some kind of press release, or probably wouldn't hurt to suggest appointments. I mean, at least maybe,
We can require it.
require it. Yeah.
We're gonna,
Just to keep the flow.
we're gonna be requiring appointments to get in. I think Joel, we're gonna talk with him about that deal, that it'll alert us when their appointment is here type deal. And we have the suggested appointment books and stuff that the Treasurers Association and the driver's license stations have sent. We're gonna try and still pre-screen even with the appointments, and if we can get stuff done online or over the phone or by mail, we're gonna strongly encourage that to try and reduce the foot traffic. But it's also, we got to figure out for us, there's a lot of documents that they need to bring in, and we don't want to have to turn somebody away from their appointment because they don't have all the right documents, and have them, their next scheduled availability is like 2 weeks out or something.
Correct. I guess with that, with 2 of the offices not comfortable with opening yet, I guess without these partitions in or the public, do we want to push the whole thing a week or just kind of, I don't care.
I'd say appointments at people's discretion, but we're not gonna open probably until June yet. And I'm hoping you can wait at least until June 3rd, so I'm past the election.
Okay.
If that happens.
Okay, do that then.
Just stick with appointments,
Just
every
do-
office.
So,
And kind of run it at your own discretion. Like with offices in the courthouse, you take care of your appointments, guiding them in, guiding them out.
Yep,
Right.
every department.
You guys are the ones that got to work around it every day. Unfortunately, us three don't have to take it on like you guys do. So we're pretty well willing to work with whatever you guys want. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's their elected officials.
okay, Jake, does that work for you? We're kind of, I don't know what for a press release, if anything, right now.
If we're not changing anything,
Yeah.
then just leave the status quo.
Yeah,
So do we
we'll
say
do
we're
it.
pushing back until everybody has their partitions?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll just kind of keep running as is. I guess,
Okay.
department heads run your own appointments, and we won't put out any press release on anything until we know
Sounds-
we're gonna actually open these doors up.
Plus the court's not gonna be open until June. anyway,
Yeah,
right?
courts don't go till, June 4th or 5th.
3rd.
So. Okay, that seems like a plan, I guess. Dan Fink, anything new with you? Anything discussion on this?
No, I'm good with that.
Okay, you guys are still just gonna run as is, right?
Yep, we're just gonna run as we have been. We're pretty much getting close to back to where we were before the COVID come in. Just a few of the regulations we're still holding with cleaning and that. As far as new stuff, one thing I did get was a letter from the DCI. They are looking at pulling all the DCI officers out of the casinos, which is going to impact us big. We would have the full law enforcement out there, daytime, nighttime, everything. So I am writing a letter to the legislatures that they will present saying why that's a bad idea. But if you see Jane or Wayland or a state legislature, you might want to mention that to them, that leaving those DCI agents in the casinos is a good thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a lot to throw at these counties, you know, within the states to cover that law enforcement. So I think we'll do diligence on our end and contact them, email or message or call them. That doesn't
Yep,
sound
it
like.
sounds like it was going to go this year, but because of COVID, it didn't go to the legislature. But it sounds like they might try to push it next year.
And I'm sure they've got a plan for funding this too, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's coming out of pop cans again.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thanks for the tip on that, and we'll contact our representatives around here.
The only other thing I did meet with Kevin Springer last week. Our pad out here, we got a big crack in it. To fix that, it's going to be doing a lot, but we do have a small portion where sand is collecting. Talked to Jackie about it a little bit. He's going to come in and dig that out and put a trough in there. It's going to be under $500, but that's going to help with keeping it clean and keeping that grass look better up front here. So hopefully he'll get to that within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Good. Sounds good. Anything else?
Nope, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Cindy.
Nothing really to report here. We're just still working rotating shifts and you know, like I said, with the assessor's office, we're fine down there. No shields or anything will be required. So we're doing good.
You guys are just gonna run appointments as well if anybody would need them?
Yep,
Okay.
That's what we're doing. If they call, that's when we'll go ahead and do it that way too, like the other departments. So.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Richard Broughton, you still around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you guys still kind of status quo there?
Yeah,
Just gonna keep going as we've been going?
Yeah, we don't get a lot of foot traffic up here, and what we do, we kind of just maintain the distances. I mean, we've had a couple people up here and looking at mapping and stuff. I don't feel it's a big issue for us right now, with just me being every other day and Russ here every day and Al Al stops in it very infrequently, but we've been doing a lot of stuff by phone and by email. So I think we're okay the way we are. Like I said,
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Oh, he's got it in his microphone. Something's going on there. Jessica Ryerson.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, as far as opening, that sounds good to us too. We'll just kind of continue what we've been doing as far as running by appointment only. So.
And I see we had a press release end of last week here. Got our second.
Yep.
Candidate.
So we do have a total of 2 confirmed cases. The one is a recovered case, and then our new confirmed case from Saturday.
I didn't look. What age group was that in?
You know, it wasn't. We get our templates for our press releases from IDPH, and the one we used didn't have it in there.
Okay.
But this individual is in the 18 to 40-year-old range. So.
Okay. And do they have a idea where it came from, or is it community spread, do you think?
Don't know.
Okay. Don't have any history on that.
Yep.
All right. Other than that, you getting all the supplies you need, you're good that way?
Yep, things are good here.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Jackie, anything different with you? Elections? Okay.
Keep sending in those absentees.
All right, Teresa, if you have anything else or any discussions, you can just go ahead and chat at us and we'll figure it out from there. Jake Hansen, if you had anything different, let us know. Otherwise, we'll take what you said earlier as your report. Jim Hansen, looks like he's awake up there.
For sure.
Got a smile, so he must be. Hi, Jim.
Hey, for us, we're still doing kind of the same stuff we've been doing. We're still weighing our decisions on what to do park-wise, you know, whether we soft open as some of the counties around the state are doing, or if we essentially kind of hold off and just hesitate. And the phone calls we've been getting asking about campgrounds opening, they've been people from the Twin Cities, and, you know, it's not local people. The local people aren't the ones calling and asking about the campgrounds. It's been the coming from infected areas to here is who's been calling and asking. So at this point, we're still just kind of going week to week and just seeing what we feel comfortable with as a staff and what we feel is good to what's best for the community, I guess. We don't want to be the ones to cause something else to come in. So
I can't go fishing yet.
You can still go fishing.
Okay. Okay.
All of our parks are open to walk-in access.
Okay.
So people can recreate. We're just trying to curb the gathering, you know, having parking lots full and things like that, essentially, is what we're trying to avoid.
Okay.
Yeah, I occasionally have gotten a few calls, just questions on the Worth County Lake Campground, and that's been from local people. So
Excited about that.
Right.
Everybody, I think, wants to try that out.
And when we do open that, if we actually start opening campgrounds up this summer, what we'll end up doing is we'll actually only place picnic tables and fire rings probably every other campsite. And I don't foresee us turning on the water or having the new bathroom open at all this summer for public use. You know, right now the state park system, when they're open with their campgrounds, they're only open to self-contained units. They're not supposed to use water. They're not supposed to use playgrounds. They're not supposed to use shelter. You know, essentially you're allowed to plug your camper into electricity, and that's what you get to do. You're only supposed to be with your family unit at the camper. You're not supposed to gather with friends. They're trying to be pretty stringent on how they do it state-wise too. So that's partly why we're kind of just dragging our feet. Is, you know, if you go camping and it's, you know, there's your family of 4, you're not supposed to interact with anybody else in the campground. Well, it's just going to become an enforcement nightmare, I think, once you start putting people in campgrounds. So.
Gotcha. So how'd the grass come in out of Worth County Lake? You get that all seeded out there, Dave?
Actually, it's come up really nice this spring. So.
As you said, no water. Can they hook water to their campers, or will that be turned on?
We would not. We would probably not hook it just because as a public water supply, then we would have to decontaminate every spigot every time a camper came in or out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Understandable.
Well,
Yeah, any other questions?
oh,
That it, Jim?
That's it for right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mark Tomlinson.
Good morning.
Mark.
Not a lot of changes in the EMA. Did get the federal government has pushed out their emergency management performance grant funding to the states last month, and then the states allocated that out to the counties. So we got our notice for that. Just a little bit, about $700 less than what we got last year. And the change, the overall for the state was more, but there's some counties that have switched from part-time coordinators to full-time, and so then that takes a little bit of everybody's and spreads it out that way too. Similar to what we did about 2 years ago here. So ends up being about 25% of the budget that the federal government reimburses for.
Good.
Other than that, just got something in this morning for wastewater and water treatment operators, a way for them to get the cloth mask, and I sent that out to the ones that I have contact for, Chris and Dirk here in Northwood. So they're going to distribute on their own through their association, I guess.
Okay.
That's about it from here, unless you guys have other questions.
Oh, I think we're good on this end too, so thank you.
Thank you.
Joel.
Not much for me. I think we've weathered the storm fairly well as far as people working from home. Have had a bunch of discussions about increased activity from our Chinese and Russian friends. Disinformation campaigns, those have skyrocketed, and then also advanced attacks against local governments, especially with the election coming up. So we're trying to ratchet things down. We want people to be aware of emails. Don't click if you don't have to, kind of things. And then I did sign up with No Wait Online, or No Wait. They're the small company out of Plymouth, Minnesota, for scheduling appointments. You don't have to install an app or anything like that. It works with just text messaging and calling people. Looks like a pretty good product. It's only $29 a month, so we're just going to kind of try it. And then there's a small, like 5 cents for every text message after that. So we're going to probably try it with Jake's office and see how it works, but I'll open it up to all offices as they need it.
Okay. Obviously, I think I've had probably almost one phishing email a week now, it seems like, that I personally see. They're obvious, real obvious, whether they're part of our training or what they're, but there's definitely been some credit card ones coming through that I've seen that I know of no way they apply to me. So.
We've seen it come up, and then I know there was one email, Scott County got hit. There was a compromised account that went out to a bunch of county people. We let Scott County know that they've had, a breach of some sort there, an email breach. So it's just, I think this is just going to escalate. They're just trying to sow the seeds of discord and trying to take advantage of the situation. So
there's more people at home playing around on the computers.
It's the more digital we go, the more vectors they have to attack. So it's too bad. We'll just keep an eye out, but I know we're getting hit pretty hard along with everybody else across the state.
Okay. I think I got everybody, didn't I? I think so. Okay. Well, Supervisors weekly reports, and
I just went over to Palo Alto County last week with Bill Jensen. We talked with Northwest Care Connection, but the interview and the process they hired. So we talked to Sandy, and we're going to go run with it. So
yep.
I had a phone conference, workforce development. Right now we're focusing on getting a E28 agreement put together, trying to get the verbiage correct in that, so we can probably have our county attorneys look at them again. We had one, we kind of just a general draft a while ago. We ran it past Jeff and he was okay with that. We just need to make a bunch of changes with the county names and maybe a few things more pertain to our region than somebody else's region. So we're working on that. We'll probably be working on that for the next couple months. Our time frame, has been extended because of the COVID, so we got a little more time to finalize everything. But we have, we've gone ahead and we're gonna merge. We know we have to. I see an email come across here that we've got a few more dollars of funds to work with, thankfully, which will help. But did that. So we'll continue working that. And then I had, like I said, I've already talked about meetings with some landowners on DD7 and one up there, Lot 8 on the roads. And also be a little change coming on that DD4. They cannot get agreements with the people in Winnebago County to go in there and do the things they need. So right at the county line, there's one beaver dam. I talked to Craig Hugsdale and thinks that's the main thing. So that's going to be taken out, along with a sandbar somewhere or another. So hopefully that'll work. We'll just put that all
right, county line, state line.
yeah, up there in Emmons and right there at the corner of Minnesota and Winnebago County. And so we can just take the beaver dam out there right at the county line, and then further back there's a little sand area that's kind of holding up the water, silting in or whatever. So they're going to do some of that for now. So we should be able to build that back to the district. Hopefully, no problem for repair. And we'll ask Craig, depending on how far you want to pursue this going forward, and I'm sure they're going to think about it. They might still get that little stretch between 69 and the county line cleaned out. We might see that come across at some point. That's up to them if they want to pursue that. Water is flowing through there, so I don't know if Rich is still on there, and that's fine if he's not. I don't know if Craig is still insisting that culvert be all cleaned out under 69, but we can deal with that going forward.
So here, and I think that state members have the same answer. It's those triple cells are really inadequate for that up there.
Rich, I don't know what happened. Your microphone was going goofy. We got just a ton of static, so we did not catch that.
No, that's okay.
If you want to call in, Rich, you certainly can over the phone line.
Otherwise you can just talk to Mark about it.
Yeah, we'll see how far they pursue it.
Right. Thank you.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better, yeah.
I had two cell phones plugged in. I'm trying to get one working, so maybe that was the problem.
That would do it. That would do it.
Well, they're plugged in to try to transfer data, and I don't know if it was the wires too close or what, but I guess what I said earlier was that I know I talked to the state guys before about that triple box culvert under Highway 69 there, and one cell is more than adequate. 3 are too many, so I don't know what kind of battle you want to use there.
Yeah, I don't either, Rich. I just, I guess that'll be up to the district owners how far they want to pursue it. I mean, they stuck that pipe in there.
They can chase the state, so.
Yep, absolutely. No, I understand. It'd be between them and the state, so we can deal with it, get that far.
Okay.
That's all I had. Yeah.
I didn't have anything last week, so I actually did meet up with Jason and sign the rest of those agreements, but other than that was it. So.
You guys both met up out here on 105 with Larry.
Yeah, we
you
did.
guys got that figured out?
Yep. I think so. Rich was working on figuring out a solution for the right of way, and then a solution for the district. So.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Okay.
That's it.
Anything else needs to go on the agenda? I think everything on there for future is good. We don't have anything together, so I guess I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I'm ending the meeting.